Hi, and welcome to the Home Video Emporium. I'm your host, my name is Brendan, and with this series what I hope to accomplish is to catalog my entire collection of home video titles and determine which of these movies still belongs amongst my elite and esteemed collection and needs to be preserved for many years still to come, and which of these movies unfortunately may need to be purged so we can free up a little shelf space, as I have unfortunately run out of room here on my video shelves and I'm still looking to add titles to the collection. Hopefully by the end of the series we're going to get rid of about 30 to 50 movies, and if nothing else, this is a great time and excuse to watch some movies I may not have seen in a while and hopefully enjoy them all with you. Today's episode we are discussing 1940's The Great Dictator, written and directed by Charles Chaplin. Again, this is one of the first Chaplin movies I've seen. The first one was Modern Times. I can't remember if I had seen The Great Dictator or City Lights second, but those were the first three that I remember seeing. And obviously I was impressed by all of them. Great Dictator in particular. This is Chaplin embracing, or at least being forced to embrace due to the Modern Times, the talkie film. This is very much a talkie. This is not like Modern Times where it's a little bit of talking. He talks throughout the film. He has a very wonderfully delivered monologue at the end of the film, and it's very much up to that era. But one of the things that I like about the film, and why I think it really stood out, well, a lot of things I like about the film, was even though he is making a talkie film, he's still using visual comedy styling and just visual storytelling language throughout. He's not completely abandoning the craft that he spent several decades perfecting of visual storytelling and using visual comedy. He's embracing those elements while at the same time, doing talking and doing jokes as well as drama and hardship through the dialogue. So he's using all methods now of filmmaking. He's using dialogue, not just the telecards. He's using full dialogue, which in some ways is enhancing the acting, but he's still using visual storytelling, which a lot of filmmakers were not using at the time. You had a lot of the madcap screwball comedies that were very popular during this time, and they were using a lot more of the manic energy and some of the performances to tell the jokes. And I like a lot of those films. We're going to talk about quite a few of them in this series, but they were not still employing the visual storytelling element that Chaplin was doing here. Also, this film is this is very much a satire, very dark satire, much in the vein of something like Dr. Strangelove, where in Modern Times, as I spoke in the last episode, he is talking about the Depression. Obviously, here he is making reference to the both Hitler and Mussolini, the dictators at the time, and they were this is 1940. They were very much still in power while Chaplin was making the movie. The war was going on, so he was making this movie while the battle was still happening, and obviously there was a lot of resistance in Hollywood because they were kind of staying away from the war, not really discussing any of the major political parties in that one, whereas Chaplin, as along with Jack Warner, who was still running things in Warner Brothers, they were very much some of the only two that were willing to address the issues that were going on at the time. One of the first things that really did strike me about this is just how influential it is, not just with dark social satire, but I thought a lot of Spaceballs by Mel Brooks. Obviously, they are both parroting the same things with the Spaceballs and the double cross that Hinkle represents in this one. But Mel Brooks is, he plays dual roles in Spaceballs, a good guy and a bad guy, just as Chaplin does here with Hinkle and the Jewish barber character that he plays. But the president of Spaceballs, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's very much modeled after a lot of the same things that Chaplin does, the same way they kind of mock Hitler. Brooks is kind of in a lot of ways just aping what Chaplin does, and some of the more outrageous kind of gags throughout Mel Brooks, I think, can be attributed to Chaplin and the influence there. Also, I thought about Team America World Police, where the way they kind of satirize Kim Jong-il in that one, it very much reminds me of Chaplin's Hinkle in this one, the famous scene where he's playing with the balloon Earth, and he's just tossing it around. He's doing all this fun little silly stuff. It's been a long time since I've seen Team America, but I remember Kim Jong-il's character has like a song of that, and it reminds me so much of that scene where I wonder if those guys were just completely influenced by Chaplin. They were just paying homage to him in that one. Also, the James Bond influence on this is kind of incredible. This movie comes out about 13 years before the first James Bond book even gets published. But there's a scene where he's talking to his minister of weaponry, I believe they call it that, and it's almost a parody of the Q branch scenes in James Bond, where they always have all these new inventions for Hinkle that he's going to try out, and he's going to he's going to be impressed, and they always backfire. They have the bulletproof full body armor that they shoot him, the guy, and he just dies, and the helmet that's also in parachute, and the guy just jumps out the window, and they just like kind of watch him fall to the ground. He's parodying James Bond even before it even happens, which is, I guess that sort of thing just came in. I wonder if Ian Fleming was just saw Chaplin and said, what happens if we just do that sort of thing straight? And that's how they came up with it. So a lot of influence, obviously, not just with this movie, but through other Chaplins. But this one in particular really did impress me with the influence that he had. And Chaplin's performance, too. One second. He's talking throughout. He has a great chemistry, again, with Paulette Goddard, who was in Modern Times. But he doesn't seem like someone who has a weird voice or something, or couldn't have trouble vocally. He is a great dramatic actor in this. The speech he gives at the end, he has an amazing performance. The speech he gives in sort of German-esque kind of as Hinkle, he really goes for it. He really has a wide range as an actor, and even though obviously he preferred the silence, this in a lot of ways just opened up more of his talent. And we got to see some more of his skills, both that he could do so much. The Barber and the Hinkle, they're very different characters, and they talk differently. Their voices are different. Their style of speech is different. So he really is able to get just a lot across, just differently. So while some other filmmakers, the sound may have been limiting in some ways, where they were just more focused on the sound. And this, I think Chaplin does just expand his horizons even more than he already did. And Hinkle's relationship with Napoloni, I can't remember what they call his country, but where Napoloni is almost Hinkle's kind of big brother, and he's always slapping him on the back, calling him Hinky. I apologize. Just really, funny stuff. These are not nice people that he's doing this to, but he's finding a way to make it funny and to try to present them as clowns, which was kind of a wild thing. This being a Criterion, it is some more great features that you would expect. They do a parallel between Charlie Chaplin and Adolf Hitler. The two actually were only born 4 days apart from each other, which I didn't know. But they do talk about how Chaplin, during World War I, he was really ascending to becoming the world's most popular movie star. And during the time, Hitler was in the service. He was a soldier in World War I. And while Hitler was even though he was doing good as a soldier, he was kind of just a lowly foot soldier, while Chaplin was giving speeches in the United States to kind of rally the troops for war bonds and stuff. They actually have newsreel footage of Chaplin giving speeches, and there's all these people around him that are just loving him. And it's also interesting, they talk about how Hitler, after World War I, he suffered an injury, he was in the hospital, and he didn't even know that the world war was over and that his side lost, which is the same story that Chaplin's Jewish barber in this has, even though obviously the barber, he doesn't know that he's, he loses the memory so long that he doesn't even know that the double cross has come into power. But it is interesting, another parallel in that regards. And they do talk about that during the newsreel footage of Hitler, back when he was just doing it during the silent era, and they would have captions and stuff. People just thought he was silly in the United States. They thought, who is this Chaplin wannabe? And then once the sound came in, something Chaplin didn't like, but it turned out to be Hitler's great weapon, that he was able to kind of spread his message even further. They also discuss that in the 30s, when Chaplin was promoting Modern Times, he was going around Europe. He went to Germany, he went to Italy, and he was beloved in both countries. And the people kind of rallied around him, and obviously Hitler and Mussolini did not like that. They did not like him. They started spreading propaganda about Chaplin and tried to ban all his movies and just paint him out to be distant enemy of their causes. They do reference that they do believe that before his death, Hitler had watched The Great Dictator at least several times. They say even Chaplin himself would have been interested to know whether or not what he thought about it and what he thought about the satire, but he died obviously before that, so we'll never know. There's also some on-set footage. It's a colorized footage of seeing that was filmed by Chaplin's half-brother. It's kind of a little weird seeing Chaplin dressed up like Hitler, kind of giving orders on set, very authoritatively, which is interesting. But again, some of the special features I do think are a bit redundant. The first one between the parallels between Chaplin and Hitler, I think are the best ones. Some of the other ones they do kind of cover over other grounds. But I do think this is a very good Criterion release. The picture quality is good, sound quality is very good, and the documentaries are very good, and they give you insight not just to the movie but the historical context to which they're made. Also, Chaplin's speech at the end of the movie, which he gives pretty much as himself as Charlie Chaplin, which was supposed to denounce fascism in the United States. They took it as pro-communism, which led to Chaplin being kind of blackballed and unfortunately having trouble throughout the rest of his career. I've only seen one film, post-Great Dictator. It was Limelight. That's a full-on talkie movie. It actually has Charlie Chaplin working with Buster Keaton, which is only one of his last roles. So I think he made 2 or 3 afterwards, which I still have not seen. But Chaplin did continue to work during the sound era, although his popularity during the era had unfortunately decreased drastically. This one, he did earn his only Academy Award nomination as Best Actor. For this, did not get any recognition for his directing abilities, unfortunately. And apparently he was not too happy about that. But a very well-earned Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, which I think this is a tremendous comedic performance from Charlie Chaplin that, definitely deserved its recognition. And unfortunately he didn't win, but there you go. Unfortunately, this cuts our Charlie Chaplin retrospective short. I only have 2 films that I own of his. I've seen a few more, but he definitely has some that I should add to the collection. Occasionally we'll watch some on the Criterion channel. As I mentioned, Limelight, City Lights, which is a great movie that I should have. The Kid, which is a shorter movie. So there's a lot. Gold Rush. So there's plenty more Charlie Chaplin to check out. I unfortunately don't have any, but I would recommend you both checking out the 2 films I discussed here, as well as many others from one of the most important and influential figures in movie history. And even though we only covered 2, both of which were more in his sound era, I think Chaplin could have succeeded in any era. I think he was talented. His ability to kind of do social satire, even some sillier things, as well as his writing, directing, and acting. I don't think there's any era where Charlie Chaplin would not have been a big star. Who knows, maybe now he would have just been on some streaming service no one ever heard of, like a lot of comedies just kind of get buried now. But yeah, he definitely he had all the tools. And hopefully his movies are going to be recognized for as long as they're motion pictures. I think Charlie Chaplin will always be one of the people that people will always discuss and admire for all of his tremendous contributions. I'm looking at my notes. Can't even read my own handwriting. Okay, well, I don't know what I wrote there. So that's going to wrap us up on our very, very unfortunately small Charlie Chaplin retrospective. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you enjoyed the films, and you check them out yourselves, and check out more Charlie Chaplin. So that'll do it for this episode. Until next time, be kind and rewind to each other, and remember, it's not a true home without home video. Thank you. Goodbye.